On the Fringe with Dan Radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Things are definitely weird right now. Best I can tell, this is what it feels like to me. I'm curious what you guys think. By the way, hit up the thumbs up, the subscribe, all that good stuff if you can. Also leave a comment what you think about this. But it kind of feels to me like Kamala Harris is like Captain America's shield to the deep state. I'm just using an example of a shield that's famous, but like a shield. I feel like what's really coming is hiding behind her. And I don't just think that's her policies. I actually think there's some shenanigans coming. I don't know if they know it as much. I think they do because she's woefully unpopular. We're going to talk all about this crap, but it just feels like there's something else here that's not here. It's not here yet. It's not in front of our face, but it's in front of us somehow. It's what it feels like to me. I don't know. Super curious what you guys think. I, of course, chose this picture because to me it looks like she was talking to her hand. I wanted to do a hand puppet thing on the thumbnail. It came out how it did. But, Mr. Hand, who's the smartest of them all? Oh, well, you are, of course, Kamala. Dude, she's jacked up. She's horrible. Wondering about Biden, wondering what's going on with the Democratic National Convention. That's coming up. So many things. So many things going on. Walz is a joke. We'll keep talking about that. We're going to keep hammering these two. These two are just getting beat up. That's why I feel like they're like the heat shield, right? We're coming on re-entry right now, and Kamala and Walz are the heat shields. They're getting burned up so they can bring forth the actual thing. That's what I think's actually happening. We'll see. Who knows? Could be totally wrong. Got a lot to talk about. We'll see. Hopefully it's not too terribly long. We'll see. You never know. I do want to remind guys now, again, my dear, lovely, wonderful friend, Alpha, he's just a busy guy. He's kind of similar to our movie channel. That kind of fell apart just because he's a busy guy. And I'm wondering the same with Synchronicity. I'm going to give it one more week, and we'll see if he's too busy. Might be. I don't know. No slamming on him. He's my boy. I love him. I love him dearly. But what I'm thinking of doing is potentially doing the Law of One series and doing it myself. I've talked about it before. It is actually why I started the On the Fringe channel, believe it or not. That was the first thing I did. I was doing this channel, Dan Radio style. I've got the YouTube version of it, and I've got the Rumble version, right? And I had that, and it was very non-political, and it was, I don't know. I found that manifesting was a little easier to talk about than, say, getting into Law of One stuff. Law of One's been on the fringe, a little crazy, so I'm like, ooh, let's make a show. Now, I want you guys to join this channel if you guys are into the manifesting stuff. I've got, of course, the YouTube version of it, but certainly the Rumble version, Dan Radio style. Just look it up, all one word. I'm thinking about doing that topic probably on the fringe. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what channel I want to do it on. I mean, it's like what I started the channel with, but the channel's kind of become its own thing. So it's like almost like, do we want to do that? I don't know. Who knows? All right. A lot going on. Elon Musk posted this, and I actually found this to be one of the most astute things I've heard said in a long time. I feel it's weird saying that to an uber genius, but it was a brilliant, brilliant analogy. Elon Musk posted this. You watched the Hunger Games and sided with the resistance. You watched Star Wars and sided with the resistance. You watched The Matrix and sided with the resistance. You watched Divergent and you sided with the resistance. You watched V for Vendetta and you sided with the resistance. When it's fiction, you understand, yet you refuse to see it when it's the reality you are living in. Wild. 100% right. 100% right. Only two boxers who failed their sex tests at the World Championship last year competed in the Paris Olympics. They both won the gold medals in their respective weight divisions. So two people that failed the gender test ended up winning the women's division. And Elon Musk, of course, is saying just a coincidence. Of course it is. It's all it is. Got filled on fire. He's been really good lately, and when he is, I gotta give the man some points. Also, I love when people record like this. I wish you could at least get a tripod or something, but holding your phone to record the TV, there's better technologies. But anywho, it is what it is.
Right now, I want to look at the big picture here because Harold did bring up. I understand Harold's point about discipline, but you can't expect a political experience from somebody who is never going to be a politician. And Trump is never going to be a politician. He wasn't raised as one. He doesn't act like one. He did a 70-minute relentless question and answer period, what should be gained from that? Like when you walk away from that, you can go, God, I wish you would rein that in. But the thing is, the one thing that you saw, if, let's say with the 5, we have millions of viewers. A lot of them don't like Trump and a lot of them are Democrats. So they're listening to me tell you why this matters. He's engaged. And that's really necessary right now. All of the pistons are working. He was there for 70 minutes. He answered every question. You can tell that he's going to be like that with everything because he is. There's not that phony engagement of the establishment politician where they say exactly enough. It's neat and it's tidy and it's almost impossible to remember what they said after they said it. Politicians are trained to say nothing. You know, and he can't do that. He never got that training. So I think when you're watching vintage Trump, you have to realize that this is how he's going to be in meetings with people who aren't friendly to the United States or people who want something from America and we demand scrutiny and reciprocity. So just replace the media with all those people. He's not a figurehead. So if you're looking at him, you're going, I can't stand it. He's not a figurehead. He's an agent. He's your agent. He's America's lawyer. He's in the room there to represent his client, America, your needs and your concerns. He's supposed to be an asshole. You know, he's not interested in impressing the other people in the room. I want an agent or a lawyer with that relentless energy that makes people upset. And the country needs that. We've had 4 years of perk-hungry elites who are there for the pomp and not for the people. So it's kind of, you have to look at this stuff as a necessity, that this guy is going to be that way in a room with people that have been screwing us over forever. Do you want him or do you want Kamala? Who do you want in that room? You want the guy that nobody likes because they don't like him for a reason. And do you...
And the funny thing is, kind of really, when you think about it, is he's actually the guy everybody likes. And we like him because of his no-nonsense approach. The RNC is asking the Supreme Court to reinstate Arizona's citizenship check voting laws. It's kind of interesting to see where this actually goes, but the committee centered much of its filings around how the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals handled the matter. The laws at the center of the debate are HB 2492 and HB 2243, probably mean nothing to any of you, but collectively they are known as the, quote, voting laws. They were passed by the Arizona legislature in 2022. Among other things, they require that people who register to vote in Arizona using a state form provided satisfactory proof of citizenship or residency, such as a birth certificate, or to be eligible to vote. The laws also require individuals to include their state or country of birth and mandate that countries conduct citizenship checks and remove non-citizens from the rolls. Although a district judge partially blocked the law in 2023 after ruling that federal law, not state, take precedence when it comes to proof of citizenships for voters, a 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit later stayed the injunction. In July, another panel of judges granted a request from Republicans to reinstate some, but not all, parts of the laws. However, this same panel turned down the RNC's bid to require election officials to check records from the Social Security Administration and other databases to ensure individuals who do provide proof of citizenship are actually citizens. I don't like it when we actually prove it. So they're pushing this really hard. There is a push to get this obviously heard by the Supreme Court. We'll see. I'm very curious. The Supreme Court has been reticent to pull up any real election stuff, best I can tell. So let me say I'm not having high hopes, but we'll see what happens. Georgia County turns to first responders to secure ballots chain of custody. Apparently they're going to use, I think, police. They're going to help run the little data cards, the SD cards and whatever, thumb drives, if you will. They're going to run those down to the district instead of anybody from either side, right? Like, what are you going to get, like a Democrat and a Republican, and they're going to drive down together, and they're going to both hold on to the chip the whole way? Like, no. So they're going to go with someone that's kind of a little more third party, and potentially less likely to cheat. I mean, it's a neat meet in the middle. I don't know. I mean, a lot of cops in the cops union probably going to vote Democrat, but I don't know if they would mess with it. Like, I kind of feel like they take their stuff a little serious. Who knows? We'll find out as well. Georgia elections, though, we got some landslides are becoming nail biters and nail biters becoming landslides. Oh, so fabulous with their cool words and stuff, but it's true. And this is, I think, Trump's campaign lady. This is forwarded from Liz Harrington, and I forget this lady's name. I've met her in real life even, too. And she is, yeah, I think she's working for Frank's Speech, I thought. All said, it was a pretty good little piece on the election stuff.
Points ahead if you look at internal polling, which I know looks really good in Georgia for Donald Trump, as well as like Rasmussen polling, right, which is actually more accurate. Rasmussen's been much more accurate than any of those left-leaning pollsters out there who's suggesting that Kamala Harris is ahead in Georgia. So why the shift? Why does your former boss now seem to hone in on the fact that Georgia is really, truly a battleground for him and that it's in jeopardy?
Well, I think he's paying attention, and I think he knows this is the land where Georgia, that landslides become nail biters and nail biters become landslides. I mean, Brian Kemp shouldn't even really be in office right now. I mean, it's up, who knows what would have happened. But if they had a fair election, he won by his primary by 50 points, and yet he was booed off the stage at the Georgia Republican convention just months before. Same with Brad Raffensperger. I mean, there's no way in a fair election, legitimate election, he would have avoided a runoff. He was polling in the 30s, and yet somehow he gets 20 points higher and avoids a runoff. So President Trump's paying attention to these things. He knows that the results are not what they say they are. I mean, obviously, he's read the stuff that I've provided to him over very many months, when I was working for him. He is intimately aware with how their elections are working or really not working for the American people. So I think he knows that. And the amazing thing, Emerald, when we're talking about these wins yesterday, and these courageous members of this election board, they've gotten no backup from the state Republican Party, no backup from the RNC. They've had legal threats. Nope. They're going to be sued. They've already been sued. No backup whatsoever. So this is all because of people who have not given up on the truth, and a few people that had courage on the state election board. That's it. And President Trump, who gave them some backup at the rally. But otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. It's certainly the good old boys, the Republican Party down in Georgia, is just happy with the way their elections are run, which are totally not based on reality. They are whatever you say they are. That's why you see such the stink about when you can question the certification. Well, now they're saying you can't do that. You can't have a reasonable inquiry. You just have to rubber stamp whatever they say you are. We can't look at the tabular tapes. We can't look at the ballots. We can't look at anything. Just say whatever we say it is. That's not going to fly anymore.
For me, again, everyone sees things kind of like through the lens of where they're at. But for me, what's so powerful about where we're at right now, and just use the election as a real solid example. So back in the last election, many of us believed that there were some major shenanigans, and so some things happened. And here we have a choice at that point when this happened. Do we just accept what they said? Do we just roll over and expose our jugular? Or do we continue on? And here we are heading into the next election where we know full well they're going to do whatever they can. We are eliminating possible maneuvers, especially in important places, very important places. And so we are effectively kind of putting them into a corner. We know they're going to try to do some shenanigans again. What's going to happen? How are you going to respond if when they do? Now, again, maybe we win it this time. I'm totally preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. I say it all the time, prepared for the worst. I know what they're going to try to do for the most part. And I think they'll be reasonably successful for the most part. But I think my job, or at least one of, is to get as many of you all to go out and vote anyways. I think a lot of people on the left, especially the progressives, are going to be very not wanting to go vote. They're going to be very just it's going to be disingenuous. It's not going to be a legitimate thing to them. It won't really matter to them. It might be fear or whatever, but I just don't think, or it's going to be only them, and most of the center-leaning Democrats won't go vote. Whatever the case is, I think a huge chunk of the Democrat Party's not going to be interested in voting. But I think we will be. And I think that's a huge part of what's happening. So, yes, there's some stuff going on with different states, and there's going to continue to be leading up to the election. They're going to fight it every step of the way. Peter Bernegger put this out. He's dude kind of popping up all over the place right now. Don't know why. He's gone viral, I guess many would say. But breaking, I'm calling for the arrest and prosecution of Sandra Brown, the former election manager of Mesa County, Colorado. Using her laptop, she accessed the Dominion election management system 111 times to flip votes in the 2020 election. LDF files in the Dominion voting systems, EMS, the election management system, it shows this. Mesa County purchased the optional adjudication software package from Dominion. Funny how the lying cheater Dominion president John Poulos, who was directly involved in stealing our elections, won't sue me for defamation. I wonder why. It's, of course, Peter saying this, not anyone else. God bless Tina Peters for doing her job. Amen to that. For following the law, for doing the right thing, exposing Dominion for stealing our elections. She's proven it because she took an image prior to the update, and the update and the image demonstrate that the update actually changed data, changed significant data. So Tina did something that the deep state did not want anyone to see. They were basically putting it in game mode. They'd already done cheat mode for a while. Now they were in game mode for the day of. They had a different algorithm that was going to be at work. Okay, so let's talk about Walls Harris and just what a shit show these guys are. Really, I mean, if you think about, and this is the problem, I feel like. This is why I feel like they're just a shield. They're just, the heat shield. They're getting burned up because these guys suck. Everything about them sucks. Everything about them sucks. They have no legs to stand on. Harris doesn't have any sort of platform past, any sort of history. She's got nothing positive that she can be like, see, I did this. Everything she's actually even sort of touched sucks. Walz is a full-blown communist. Everything he does screams communism. The only thing he's missing is him wearing literally Chinese colors and the Chinese flag when he goes anywhere. That's all it's missing. So it's odd how people are kind of coming to this. Here is Fikamala. That's kind of, I like that. At her HQ again. Apparently, her campaign X account was caught sharing a video of Trump's Montana rally. It shows 2 hours earlier in the day than the actual rally. So we had the one image. Which one's this? Let's see if we can do this right. So yeah, this is the first image, and RSB Broadcasting, I think, shows at 7:26 p.m. So they're like, it's all empty. Look, we're showing you all the empty stuff. But then the actual...
Right Side Broadcasting Network to show you the people. So we're going to let you see the crowds. And we'll...
So 9:35 up here. Now all of a sudden we got all the seats are full. 7:36, 9:35. So 2 hours later, and probably Eastern time. Yeah, so again, they're being caught lying. Got another example, which is kind of funny. This one's great. Even Trump actually had to share this one. I actually saw this yesterday, I think, for the first time. Needless to say, this has been demonstrated to be a fake, AI generated. So they've somehow got her picture, which looks fake, the plane. And then if you look at everyone's phones, all the phones have different images. I mean, when you zoom in on them, this is all AI generated. This is not a real picture. Yet Kamala Harris's campaign's trying to run around like they've actually got this stuff. Kamala, I will lower grocery prices on my first day as president. People, why don't you lower them right now? Kamala, I don't know what noise that she would be making in this particular one. I mean, that's a verbal meme, I think, and it's sort of fun for me. That's kind of where I get to have some fun. But yeah, what is... I mean, I don't even know. That's a home improvement moment. Yeah. She keeps talking about what she's going to do. It's like, you've been in charge for 4 years. Go ahead and start doing it now. We'll wait. No longer. Team Trump releases a brutal montage of Kamala Harris without her script. She can't handle being off teleprompter, which is sort of funny. Again, Trump's been making fun of her, but she's gonna get she can't debate Trump. Let's just say it. She can't. Unless it's fully scripted and Trump's not allowed to stray off at all, and he's still going to because everybody knows. But she won't be able to handle it. This chick cannot talk off a teleprompter. She's like Biden, except Biden actually forgets where he's at and poops his pants. Kamala's just stupid and incapable. She just doesn't understand. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't been involved. She's been in the background, I don't know, playing Parcheesi or backgammon or pinochle. I don't know what her game of choice is. Dancing probably for shots or maybe table tennis with topless. I don't know. I don't know, folks.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right?
The Caribbean nations, island nations, in the Western Hemisphere. That is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors. I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know? Space is exciting. It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down. We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It's really difficult to drink out of a paper straw when if you don't gulp it down immediately, it starts to bend. Yes. And then, you know, the little thing catches it. And then, you know, so we got to kind of perfect that one a little bit more. Do you know, okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence.
I don't know about you guys, and it felt like it was long, didn't it? It was supposed to. It was supposed to. That's how much of that there is. It's kind of frightening. Here's Walls talking about, what is this? Minnesota citizens. Yeah, they're just tired of this dude. I don't know. Yeah, this is good. Whatever. I found it to be good.
Clear, over 80% of our students miss less than 10 days of in-class learning.
I won't forget when you illegally banned physicians from prescribing medications for early treatment, fracturing the doctor-patient relationship.
I will never forget being forced out of my job at the VA of 20 years because of the vaccine.
We are not your one Minnesota. We are real Minnesotans who are worried about our future, and we will remember in November.
Minnesota's pretty pissed off, it seems. They don't like this guy at all. We don't like Kamala here in California at all. Yet, these two horribly unpopular people are running. I'm telling you, it's weird. It's a heat shield. Donald Trump Jr., all you need to know about Tim Walz is that he set up a snitch line and encouraged people to call and report anyone who was violating his COVID stay-at-home orders by doing things like playing basketball at a park, walking a dog, or purchasing non-essential items at the store. Now, the examples of this are retarded. There's a few of them. I could show the screenshots, but I will just read them because it's easier. But tonight at 5:30, more than 10 kids playing soccer at Monroe Park. These are the people that were narking out their neighbors. The next narc, Global Academy in New Brighton. There are 5 or 6 young men playing basketball on school's courts. Next narc, at Walmart in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. People with small children are coming into a store and shopping for everything but essential items. No. The bartender at Beckman's Bar in Isle, Minnesota, wasn't wearing a mask, I'm assuming. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. How did you survive in Minnesota? How did you guys make it? Seriously, how'd you make it? Tim Walz covered up Biden's health, saying that it was ageism for Americans to be concerned about Biden's fitness for office and that he would take Joe Biden at 100 over any of these guys at whatever age they are because he's good at delivering or whatever the hell, right? So now all of America knows he was just participating in the Kamala cover-up. Here's the thing that it bothers me with all of them. Now, I can, to a degree, I could say there's some professionalism involved, but anybody that spent any length of time with Joe Biden at all on a regular basis, they've all been lying. And there's some on the Republican side of the party, I think, too, that could have been like, I don't know, I'm a little concerned about some of the things that have happened. I think bringing the testimony, what was it, Weiss? No, who's the Asian gentleman that was going after him that had the transcribed, the recordings, right? And they gave us the transcriptions instead of the actual recordings. So whoever that was, I forget his name. But that's an interesting, like, part of this problem, right? Like, we're being told one thing, but we're finding out another. We've been told by all these senators and Republicans and all these people that we're supposed to be able to trust that he's okay. And then they name called us for what was obvious. Ageism. That's a fun one. Doesn't even sound cool, you know? Like, I don't know. I think most of their other nicknames are much cooler. Ageism's like, I kind of have to go look it up. I don't even know. It's not even funny. Not even, right? Like, The Harris campaign now says Tim Walz misspoke when he stole valor.
And Eva, the Harris campaign now says that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz misspoke in that newly resurfaced video from 2018 in which he said he handled assault weapons in war. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, they're walking back those comments now, saying that that Governor Walz did misspeak, that he never was in active war, and they are just retreating on those remarks. This has been sort of an unforced error on his part, and we'll see how this continues to play out for it.
You know what's weird is it feels like with the... I'm not going to say it. Dang it, my filter worked again. That sucks. What do you do? Damn you, filter! Fuck. Whatever. I thought it was funny. You might not have. Whatever. Kamala Harris isn't running a presidential campaign. She's producing a movie. J.D. Vance, I believe. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. He's on CNN, though. Dudes are going into the lion's den, man. I love it. I love this dude.
I believe that Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is, but I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience. She pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign. She's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of.
Well, the difference is now is she's literally going to, like, destroy the Constitution, and then all that other shit won't matter, right? Right? So she's smart to come at it. She's like, no, I'm not about defunding the police. We've already done enough damage. No, I'm going to destroy the Constitution, and then watch what happens when it's centralized police force, when it's FBI at your doorstep. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. We're not going there, but, right, you get the point. Kamala Harris has been exposed yet again for paying influencers to promote her on social media. I feel like I've talked about this. Maybe it's just because I pulled the story yesterday. Don't know, but they're offering $150 over a series of 3 posts, they're saying. It's not even that much money, frankly, to be honest with you. $150. They're like going cheapo. They need 3 posts that talk about how, like, you sort of like her, or you think she's great, or you're on Team Kamala, or whatever. It's kind of crazy. This is pretty good. It's worth the time, I think. But we've got, what's this? I keep forgetting this lawyer's name. Turley, yeah. He was on talking about what is going on with Hunter Biden's peddling. And see, again, keep in mind the timings, right? If Joe Biden's 25th Amendmented before Hunter Biden's actually in trouble, then he can't actually pardon him. Now, Kamala might, but Kamala and Joe Biden freaking hate each other. So they probably won't because of that. Folks, drama's coming. Drama's coming. But Turley's talking about the problems that are befalling on the, I guess, first son. What do you call that? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. President Biden's son, Hunter.
Jonathan Turley, constitutional law attorney and a Fox News contributor. So all of this information about Gabriel Popoviciu, the $3 million in payments to Hunter Biden and associates, is being used to buttress the tax case against him, as Chad just pointed out. But in doing so, Weiss opens up a whole new can of worms.
It really does. It's very frustrating for many of us who've been writing for years that we don't understand why there was not a charge under FARA for being an unregistered foreign agent. This record is replete with contracts that would seem to meet the standard used in earlier cases. During the Trump administration, you couldn't have an official go to Epcot without getting a FARA charge from the Justice Department. It seemed to be one of the most ubiquitous charges coming out of that department. With Hunter Biden, they have consistently ignored overwhelming evidence that he was receiving millions to influence policy. So now, after all that time, Weiss files this thing with the court saying, oh, well, yeah, we know that he was directing this stuff because he was getting money to influence U.S. policy from this Romanian. And it left everyone scratching their heads. It's like saying, we can prove auto theft because we know he used it in the kidnapping. And the question is, well, why did you charge him on the kidnapping?
And not the auto theft, yeah. And this, which is from Weiss's filing before the Court of the Central District of California that was filed yesterday, really drives home the point of, well, wait a minute, why isn't there a potential FARA charge here? He writes in part, quote, the government will introduce evidence that business associate one, which we believe is Senator Biden, structured a business relationship in an effort to avoid having to register as a foreign agent, and that the defendant and his business partners did reach out to government officials, specifically the United States Department of State. Is that not enough evidence for a FARA charge?
Oh, it's not just this, but yes, that is a very strong basis for a FARA charge. It's also very similar to other transactions detailed by the House, particularly the Oversight Committee. It's very similar, by the way, to the Ukrainian controversy, because in that case, you had money going to Hunter Biden and then a famous dinner in which he left to make a call to Washington. That was shortly before his father gave that ultimatum to Ukraine to fire a prosecutor or they wouldn't get $1 billion in U.S. aid. So there is a pattern here of influence peddling specifically to influence U.S. policy. And the reason why the White House was most afraid of this charge is because it really blows away all of the spin in the media and by many of their political allies that the son of the president was getting millions of dollars to work for policy changes from the administration of his father and it was the Obama-Biden administration.
I swear to God, John, there's either a mind meld between the two of us or you read my notes on my computer before we go on the air, because you mentioned the oversight and the other House committees. Here's what James Comer wrote on X yesterday. The Biden family's influence peddling schemes in Romania were documented in GOP Oversight's bank records memorandum in May of 2023. Bank records don't lie. The mainstream media took their marching orders from the Biden White House and turned a blind eye to the public corruption. And then here's what else Weiss writes in his filing with the Central District of California. And this is regarding CEFC, the Chinese company. The evidence will show the defendant performed almost no work in exchange for the millions of dollars he received from these entities. That is exactly what Comer and Jordan and Smith have been saying, and the Democrats and the legacy media have called it nothing more than political folly.
That's right. I mean, it's quite impressive for the media to ignore this scandal. It's one of the greatest corruption scandals of our lifetime. Millions and millions of dollars coming from these foreign sources. And the media has turned to willful blindness to pretend that, they really don't have enough to go on. Now you have a filing that confirms everything that all of us have been saying, and particularly these House committees. And the question is the mainstream media going to finally say, all right, we didn't pursue this. It does look like influence peddling on an unprecedented scale. I have doubts about that. But keep in mind, Weiss wanted to get rid of all of this. He wanted to reach a plea agreement with no jail time on relatively minor charges. The only reason we're at this point is that a courageous federal judge said, what the heck is this? I've never seen a plea agreement like this. And even the federal prosecutor admitted that he had never seen anything like this. And it fell apart. That's the only reason we're here right now talking about this.
All right. Well, we'll see if the media does pick up on it now that it's officially in a court filing. Meantime, if you want to know more about this, Jonathan's got a great column on it.
So he even says, right, now that it's in a court filing, we've been constantly saying, how else do you get something into the public? How else do you do it? See, many people are talking about what's supposed to happen, what they're trying to make happen. I hear stories all the time, and especially my favorites are when they actually give dates when things are gonna happen, because that's yet to be correct. Not one. 0% of the time they've been correct so far. We are moving through this transition. We are turning the ship right now. That's why I have confidence that we're winning, because this is a giant apparatus and we literally are making progress. Are they going to keep trying to cheat? Yes. Are we trying to keep them from destroying the planet before we capture them? Yes. Is there some gotchas in there? Probably. Folks, this is what we're up against. This is what we're doing. We can hope and pray and say all we want. But ultimately, what we experience every day, what's happening right now, that's the reality. That is what's happening, not what we hope. And that is the difference between hopium. This guy, you guys know that. I sprinkle powdered sugar on all sorts of shit, man. I'll make it better. Make it great again. Whatever the hell it is. So President Biden's student debt relief plans, right? He's trying to do more. He's bragging about it, being a little braggadocious, at least as of, he says, if you don't want, this is a new thing that's going out. They're fixing student loan programs, making sure higher education is a ticket to middle class, not a barrier to opportunity. So far, Biden-Harris administration has approved student debt cancellation for $4.76 million, right? They're bragging about it. They're trying to do some more shenanigans. But, why waste time talking about all that? Because here we go. Today, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey announced that the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the court order he obtained at the district court to block Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's latest illegal student debt cancellation scheme. His lawsuit targeted what the federal government calls the SAVE plan, which is what that article was referencing. And it, in reality, would have cost Americans $500 billion, $45 billion more than its last unlawful student loan plan. They continue to try to destroy things. We'll just play this and we'll talk.
When I ran the first time, I thought of myself as being a transition president. I can't even say how old I am. It's hard for me to get out of my mouth. Although it's a great honor being president, I think I have an obligation to the country to do the most important thing we can do, and that is we must defeat Trump.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters but defeating Trump. I don't recall a time in our political history ever where it was so much about beating the other person can't be in charge, right? Like I remember Dukakis and Mondale and some of those crazy ass mofos that were trying to run way back in the day. I'm trying to think of some of the other weird ass. And Perot, I voted for. That was why I stopped voting. I'm like, obviously my vote doesn't matter because I know more than 3% of us friggin' dug this dude. But it is what it is. And here we are, right? I'm just glad more of you are awake, man. I can't even tell you how excited I am. Joe Biden, who, once held public office, used to be the president, or who knows? He's apparently lounging at the beach in Delaware, spent 40% of his entire presidency on vacation. 40%. And if you really bake in the hours where he's off the clock, because the dude's apparently doing a punch clock or some shit, he's... 2/3 of the time he's in the day, he's not working. 2/3 of the day, he's not working. So it's more like, higher than that? 60%-ish, right? Who's running the country? And that's really a good question. I think a lot of us ask it, but some of us maybe right? Who the frick is actually, it's not Joe. It can't be. So who is it then? Because he's the dude that supposedly got 81 million votes. So who's actually, the dude's asleep on the beach. Who's actually in charge? Donald Trump Jr. There is no bigger fraud than Kamala Harris. She is scripted, phony, who has never had an original or interesting thought in her life. He sounds like his dad. I love it. Proud of you, sir. I don't know. Relative to IRS introducing new service industry tip program. They're actually going to tax tips more. More. Tips. The thing that literally gives people a chance to get up into the middle and upper, and literally you can. I kind of have an idea what my friend makes at a place, right? Makes damn good money. Now Trump, I asked her what he's doing. There's some good and bad with it, but whatever. But what Trump's doing is actually going to give them a bunch more money and let them keep it. What Biden-Harris is doing, obviously, is going to take more of that away and keep them from being able to get anywhere. And here we are. This is a great slide. Justin Duchamp, good guy, thank you. Electricity, 29.3% more expensive. Gasoline, 47.8% more expensive than 2020, all these dates. Natural gas, plus 26%. Eggs, plus 49%. Milk, plus 14%. Chicken, plus 23%. Used cars, plus 20%. Airfare, plus 32%. Transport, plus 32%. Now, every one of those I could have rounded up, but it's their fault for doing it the way they did it. You should just use the bigger number. Screw around. So things are up significantly. Look, here's the thing, guys. Our system is broken. We've had it's like a spinning top. I keep trying to explain this, right? And there it's like, right? Like our drunk trying to walk, right? All of a sudden, gravity gets them differently. That's what's happening with the economy. Deep State's losing. Deep State is not in control. Deep State is being starved of money. I don't know if you guys have been following Kim Gogan. She's been saying some interesting stuff around some of this, too, from a different angle. She's not so into the angle I push, but what she talks about is interesting. So we are at a place right now where I think we've been given our warning. I think we are going to have some time to get out, but this is one of those things where you can't procrastinate, per se. I just think, I don't know. We've had a tough last week, and there's expectations that more's to come. Like there's more shaving of data that I'm sure is coming. It looks like we're going into a negative GDP growth, which is going to come out before the election. The stock markets are going to have issues. The interest rate is a problem. We have a lot of things going on. If you are in a 401k or an IRA, if you are essentially in a cash-based cash stock-based kind of transaction world, your wealth is kind of in risk. It's in risk because of what's happening and how quickly things can change and what the deep state typically invests in. You're probably with Fidelity, Vanguard, BlackRock, all these different companies are probably the ones that have your pile of cash, and they get to spend it wherever they want, not where you might want, right? Maybe you wouldn't be as high, but you might actually be helping the deep state, right? Helping the resistance. Then you'd be like, maybe my gains weren't as good. They were gains, but I'm helping the resistance, and I would feel better. Well, this is kind of similar to that in a sense that you're getting out of their system, though. You're like, no, F you to your system. Your system sucks balls. Two middle fingers, and I'm going to go ahead and transfer sideways, tax-free and penalty-free, into a system that is performing admirably well right now, considering. And that's what it does. When inflation and what we're going through right now start to happen, then precious metals do very well. Precious metals are very liquid, and they literally are physical. You would literally be transferring this money into physical metal that's put into a trust. It's in a physical location, physical address, physical gold. You could literally say, hey, send it to me, and they're going to be like, that's the same thing as cashing out. And you're like, you know what? I want to cash out. Let's cash out. Let's deal with the ramifications of that. You can do that after. It's just an idea. Get out while the getting's good. Get out while the numbers are high. Get out while they're as bad as good as they're probably going to get. You've had your chance. You've had your warning. I'm just here trying to help people. I swear to God, I love this company. This company makes it super easy and will help you get through this quickly, which is kind of a good thing too. And they have the best customer service I've ever seen. Seriously, some of the best customer service I've ever come across. Goldco rocks. Go to drslikesgold.com. 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 Get out of their system. If you got a bunch of cash sitting on you, you might want to buy some precious metals. These guys can help you out too. 4 data points and you're on your way. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before, as I've said before they get out of you, because they do. They want to. They're going to. They don't want you having money. All right, holy crap, they say. Listen, Trump tells you of the incident predicted almost 4 years prior. All right, let's listen to this. It's been a while.
But honestly, she was the nastiest to him, too, and then he picked her. I couldn't believe it. And she was part of the cabal that got him out. You know, they got him out. They said, we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way, Joe. We'll use the 25th Amendment, and we'll call you mentally incompetent, and everybody will believe us. And, you know, what they did is a terrible thing, actually. They forced him out. It was a coup. We had a coup. That was the first coup in the history of our country. And it was very successful. He said, okay, I'll leave. If that's what you want, I'll leave. And now he's seeing what the competition is. I hear he's going to make a comeback at the Democrat convention. He's going to walk into the room and he's going to say, I want my presidency back. I want another chance to debate Trump. I want another chance. But I handed Kamala and Crooked Joe a surging economy with no inflation. We had no inflation. We had nothing. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world.
Do you guys think, this is a good comments thing too, do you guys think he's actually trying to goad President Biden into, re-entering, making a mess? Or do you think he's just telling the truth of what he's hearing? I'm kind of curious, like if he's actually doing this to try to egg on it, because Biden's hating this. So I feel like this is more of an ego jab, kind of like, what? Like, they're working you out of the system, dude. What are you, a sissy? Oh, man, I didn't realize. I thought it smelled fishy in here. Makes sense. That's just for the few people that get it, what I was saying. That's, it's wrong on so many levels. But potential retaliatory attacks at the DNC are now a concern following Trump assassination attempt. Think about this for a second. Total different ideology attacks Trump, but because of that, now they're like, there's going to be attacks against us. How about you guys? Because that was our attack. So this is like the Iran-Israel thing, okay? The deep state, they have control of this small little area of weapons and missiles, okay? And they launch them at Israel. And they're inside another country's area. So that other country gets to share the blame of this attack. And this is the game that's been going on forever. This is how the deep state gets countries in trouble and governments and, presidents and everything under the sun. So they're trying to goad us into doing something stupid. I know my audience is not lame, but I'm hoping you guys can help us, ripple some of that, like, don't be stupid kind of semantics might be good in the big picture. Just Human posted this. The very strict rules and regulations of the Department of Injustice state clearly that you can't prosecute a political opponent or anyone right in the middle of his or her campaign. Why didn't they bring these fake charges 3 years ago? That would have solved all of their problems. The answer is that they aimed for the various trials to come up during my campaign for president 2024. This includes DOJ's subservient subsidiaries like local DA and AG offices. In other words, all of these fake political persecutions of crooked Joe Biden's political opponent must be immediately halted. It's very much happening. Oh, I guess there's more. Federal prosecutors and agents may never select the timing of any action for the purpose of affecting any election or the purpose of giving an advantage or disadvantage to the candidate or political party. This is the actual semantics. Yeah, there it is. Of the actual section. So this is right here, the federal prosecutors. So they're actually reading the section from the government's rules, justice.com/JMJM-9-85000, protection, government integrity. It's like a oxymoron, right? Government integrity? Come on. You didn't mean to say that in the same sentence, did you? That's ridiculous. No. What is this? All right, let's listen to it. What the hell?
According to a whistleblower, the night before the rally, U.S. Secret Service repeatedly denied offers from a local law enforcement partner to utilize drone technology. And of course, the U.S. Secret Service, they have their own drone technology. They didn't need anyone's help. But it just further highlights the collapse of the Secret Service security.
Here's the thing. I know, guys, that you're supposed to use two cameras. Dave Wilcock is like the one I want to make fun of the worst on this. I love the dude, by the way. I've followed him for years. He's gotten very, very extra strange, especially through the marriage, and then now he's divorced. So good on you, Dave. You're finding, I think, your center again. But the multiple camera angles thing where you got to switch the cameras cracks me. It just cracks me up. I don't want to get to that point. I really don't. I don't care. I look at another thing most of the time anyway, and I forget to turn my damn camera on half the time. And then every once in a while, I actually look at you. But whatever. Secret Service knew about this. Body cam footage. The local officer can be heard saying to colleagues, I effing told them they need to post the effing guys over here. The Secret Service. I told them that effing Tuesday. I told them effing post guys over here. Of course you should have people there. Why didn't they? There's no, I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah, it's an exceptional idea. There should have been cops walking on there with weapons at anything just so it at least was like, we got people all over the place. We are here protecting this person or the protectee. But they didn't. They had two dudes on a sloped fucking roof, by the way, with tripods that were the counter sniper team. Never had one before, by the way. Think about that too. Never had one of those before on this shooting. Also happened to get somebody taking high-speed film right at the second. Two people put up the fire Biden signs on both sides of Trump's noodle, and then all of a sudden there's bullets shooting by, and you can see them on camera. I'm sure that's just coincidence. I'm sure it is. Nah, it couldn't be anything else. Trump campaign was hacked, apparently. There's a lot going on right now, by the way, with Trump and the Trump campaign and his plane and him getting shot. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of stuff. There's people that are like freaking out too. Like I saw people posting, they're like, all right, listen, Trump, here's what you got to do. Listen to me. Because, you know, I know better than your people. You should stop doing what you're doing. Park it for a week. You know, just make sure you're safe and make sure you vet everybody that's around you. Like, whatever. He can't do that. You're an idiot. I get what you're saying. You're 100% correct in what you're saying, but you're an idiot is all I'm saying. You don't understand the protectee. Now, here's another thing, too. We'll get to it. We'll get to this one. Dan, calm down. Calm down. Don't get ahead of yourself. Trump campaign was hacked, supposedly. They got hacked and they're blaming Iran, which is stupid, and Politico's reporting it. Supposedly, the Trump campaign came out and said this. Now, it's the Trump campaign. It's not Trump, right? So just, you know, maybe they found out he was like some of his debate questions. Like, if anything, I feel like this was probably stupid or maybe fishing, but whatever the case is, supposedly, Iran is hacking President Trump's campaign. We know it's not. We know it's the deep state trying to figure stuff out. I mean, I sometimes just say the stories because it's easier, but yeah, no, it's all deep state. I keep telling you people, right? All deep state. That deep state hacked them. They want to know what's going on. Kamala and Biden, Harris, Obama, whoever, all these people are freaking out right now. Judge Chutkan on Friday granted special counsel Jack Smith's request for additional time to propose the next steps to the government election interference case against Trump. So she's letting him drag it out, I guess. And I know we're supposed to be worried about that he's going to do it at the weird time. Many are suggesting that it may not actually happen now before the election at all, which is interesting. So is this supposed to happen in the interim in between? Are they going to jail him then? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, I'm just so curious what they try to do. And then they're going to be like, well, he's been to jail. You can't be president. And they're like, oh, that's actually nowhere in the Constitution. They're grasping at straws. You ever see the movies where people, like, when they're holding them, right, and they got the camera looking right at their face, and they're up and they're holding, and you can see, like, down to where they're going to die, right, and they're holding their hands, and then they slip out, like Cliffhanger. It was, like, one of the worst movies ever in the intro. Anyway, it was a decent movie, but intro. Right? And let's go. And the look in their face as they, right? Oh my God. Dude, that look is horrible. So I feel like that's what's happening to the deep state right now. Long analogy for a funny point. Trump was never shot, but knows what Kamala is presidential nominee. Apparently this is ChatGPT. So folks, any of you that are using ChatGPT solely and not actually doing some of your own searches, God help us all. ChatGPT is actually meant to be this thing that, one, helps people forget how to do stuff big time. All right, use ask it. Dude, idiocracy is happening right now. We're living through that. For those of you that have seen that movie, dude, check that movie out. Oh my God. Dude, we are going there. Now, President Donald Trump's plane had to make an emergency landing in Billings ahead of his appearance in Bozeman tonight due to a hydraulic leak. Now, he obviously flew to the other place. I don't know what all's got to be on that plane and what repairs and whatever. But here's the thing, and here's what I know. And I mean, again, there's people that are suspicious that he's got someone that's on the maintenance team that's a mole or a bad person or whatever. That's very possible. Very possible. What's also possible, it is possible, planes do have maintenance issues. And Trump flies his plane a bunch. And the more hours you fly, the more hours of maintenance you have to perform. It's ridiculous. So I don't know when they do maintenance, when if it's like when he's on like, like sitting there or whatever, but I just got to wonder, did they maybe just have a funny little, hose popped off because he needed some maintenance? Hard to say. Again, I am not one to Trump needs to protect himself. Duh. I pray that he knows that. I feel like I know that. If I know that, he has to know that, right? So I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not trying to throw powdered sugar on the conspiracy theory just yet. How about that? Maybe that's the problem here. Anyway. What do we got? Oh, here's Donald Trump. This was, I think, when he was landing. He was in Wheels Down anyway in Montana, and this was where this place was, by the way. Where is it again? Bozeman, Montana, I think. That's where they supposedly were at. Whatever. I thought it was in here. It's a different article. So he's Wheels Down, but doesn't talk about the BS that's going on. I don't know. Whatever.
I just landed in a really beautiful place, Montana. So beautiful flying over, and you just look down, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But we have a very high rating in Montana. We have a lot of popularity. I like them. They like me. But I'm here to do some fundraisers, and most importantly, to support Tim Sheehy, who's running for the U.S. Senate. And we think he's going to do really well. We're going to have a rally, and it'll be a lot of fun. And then tomorrow we're going to do some more different stops, different states, all good, all great people. And we're leading in all of the polls now. Just about every poll has us leading. They found out that this is a phony that we're running against, a person that had no idea what she was doing on the border, has no idea what's happening with inflation, had no idea what they did when it came to Afghanistan, the most embarrassing day in the life of our country. There's never been anything so embarrassing. We should have gotten out with dignity and strength, not the way they got out. It's an embarrassment to our country. So we have a great campaign. We have something that's going to be really very important. It's called, going to make America great again. And it's going to happen very fast. We're going to become energy independent again. Prices are going to start going down, including for food, for energy, and everything else. And we're going to really do a job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Did he actually say that someone's last name Sheehy? Sheehy? Really? And he's on our side of the fence? He's not progressive somehow? And his name's Sheehy. I didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. That was a shock. Shocker. This was, I think this isn't this Stitch dude, the Stitchfield guy or whatever? I don't know. I like what he had to say.
Tonight, I'm issuing an emergency plea to President Trump. He's got to hunker down in Mar-a-Lago for the next week, while only those closest to him, only the very people that he trusts the most, revet, reinvestigate everyone surrounding his security detail, everyone involved in his security detail, everyone involved in the maintenance of his plane, anyone that comes anywhere near President Trump needs to be revetted and reinvestigated. This after an emergency landing of Trump Force One. Folks, the Democrats will stop at nothing. They want this man dead. They will do everything they can to stop him from getting into the White House. First, the assassination attempt. Then this Pakistani plot to kill President Trump. We're now learning the FBI let this guy in with some kind of a special benefit to society visa. This is the kind of thing we're talking about. I don't trust anyone right now. So President Trump, if you're listening to me, please hunker down, surround yourself with those you trust, and let them go back through everyone on your security detail, everyone that is involved in the maintenance of your plane, everyone that is involved in the transportation and movement of where you go. This is of the utmost importance. We've got to secure President Trump's life and make sure he gets back to the White House.
That's right? Isn't that him? Stinch? Oops. That wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do either, I say. All right, we're going long. I'm talking too much. Ford files patent for system to automatically snitch on speeders. This bugs the shit out of me. I would, one, never buy one of these cars. Two, I wouldn't care about speeding past it, though, because it's illegal here in California anyway. They had a problem with traffic cams, and they lost major lawsuits all over the place because they're not legal. Yeah, a law officer actually has to pull you over and show you the gun and stuff like that. Like, it's just a whole lot of things legally that has to happen, or else you're gonna walk. If you know your rights, anyways, here in California. I did well in one of my trials when I was younger, by the way. It was pretty cool. Anyway, they got the system. Ford, found on road, dead pile of shit. If you guys literally go full-blown commie, Ford, you guys are done. By the way, how many of you guys are invested in Ford? Probably a bunch. I'm just saying. All right, some crap going on in the world. Ukrainian troops advance into Russia, eyeing power plant offensive. Kremlin scrambled to evacuate residents from border towns Saturday as Ukrainian troops quickly advanced towards a nuclear plant 4 days after gaining a foothold in Russia's southwestern Kursk region. One hunch is this is the closest nuclear power plant to a border, contested border that they can go after and potentially damage. I think. Two, the other side of it for sure is they need power. They've had their power destroyed by Russia with their attack, like very horribly. So their power system is very, very depleted. So having access to another power plant would probably be a good thing for them. All said, they are having some. Apparently, there's a push right now to take land. I don't know. We keep hearing the opposite, right? So I'm sure if I would have gone off looking at Russia's news version of this, it'd be like, no, we're holding them back with no problems. We hold them like one hand and they just swing at us, you know? It's basically what it feels like. But we'll see. Dozens of Russian military personnel are undergoing training in Iran on the Thoth 360 close-range ballistic missile system with expectations for the imminent delivery of these missiles to Russia for its conflict in Ukraine. How they deliver them, I'm curious. They just put them on a boat? That'd be interesting, right? Can't just shove them up on their shoulders and just start walking over. But yeah, they obviously, I'm curious where they drop them off. Are they going to be putting nukes on a bunch of these? Who knows? Pentagon refuses to rule out strikes on Moscow in shocking exchange on the Ukraine incursion into Kursk. Only problem I have is it's on Zero Hedge, which bugs me a little bit. Not that it's a bad article, it's because I don't like the fact that they're sharing this. We don't know. This is what spokeshole Sabrina Sine has said, and she answered without hesitation that, yes, it is consistent with our policy. I don't know if I want to play this. How long is it?
Right now.
It's
Patrice.
Can you provide us an update on Ukraine's incursion into Kursk? Is that consistent with, is that consistent with the United States' sort of understanding of what Ukraine can and cannot do with U.S. weapons?
Thanks for the question. So yes, it is. It is consistent with our policy, and we have supported Ukraine from the very beginning to defend themselves against.
All right, this is bullshit. So I don't know. I don't know about this story because if this is what they're linking for this is crap. They can, as far as the United States is concerned, and I'm not going to debate this. I get it though. Anything that used to be Ukraine, like their former land, though Russia's owned a bunch of it, they consider that still to be Ukraine, so they can still use those weapons in that area, even though Russia claims it as Russia proper now. So again, contention. This is definitely not going to help the war get cooler, that's for sure. A U.S. Coast Guard cutter on routine patrol around Alaska's Aleutian Islands came across a Russian ship in international waters, but within their little economic zones, like 200 miles or whatever. It was transiting. I think they're keeping some ships in close by for legit reasons because of what's happening in the world right now. Everybody's got everybody in check right now. What is this? Reuters. You guys suck balls. U.S. is going to lift a ban on offensive weapons sales to Saudi Arabia. I feel like this is a deal that the Biden, Obamas, whatever, are making with Saudi Arabia because they want to bring down the price of gas. That's my guess, because they've already sold off all of our reserves. There's nothing they can do, and the prices are going up, and they're screwed. So they want to somehow see if they can bring that down. It's one thought that's going on. Two, I got to wonder, because things are interesting, and the Biden administration has been very douchey to Saudi Arabia. So this is kind of an interesting new thing if this is happening. And it does make you wonder who's in charge, who's actually in charge, or white hats, black hats. Like, there's so much. There's like some tug of war going on right now. Israeli strike kills senior Hamas figure in South Lebanon. No, yeah, seriously. They just killed another dude. Another major dude. Yeah. Dude, this... Don't fuck with Israel, man. That's all I'm going to say. The strike on the southern edges of the Lebanese port city of Sidon, some 60 kilometers, nearly 40 miles. I don't know if that's needed, but from the frontier, killed Samer al-Hajj. He's a Hamas security official who works in the nearby refugee camp. Did they say works? No, he worked in the nearby refugee camp. I'm not trying to say I think it's okay. I'm just... Some people, interesting people, are dying for that matter. Here's something strange. A guy died doing this, so Please understand it's not graphic per se, but it's someone probably did not survive. We don't see the moment when they don't survive. Just warning you. Here you go. Dude that used to work at, he was at the Medical Oxygen Company, and he apparently intentionally crashed his Cessna 152 into the company's plant in Rosario, Argentina. That's called a bad day at the office. That's what that is. Just saying. Not okay. Not funny. Not okay. Dude, you guys got to seriously check out. I love these guys. These guys are fantastic. I don't want to spend too much time because I'm already super long. But we got reviews. We got research. First off, over 400 reviews or studies that these versicolor Coriolis mushrooms are actually extraordinarily good, not just for humans, by the way, which is funny, but also dogs and cats and horses. This is what they found. This is the reason that this company is so huge. There's a human tab. I find that to be fascinating because I don't actually have a pet right now. But I've had pets. My pet had cancer. I would have totally been all over this because I know it would have helped. Pet Club 247. This is an awesome company. I love these guys. So you want to go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. There are amazing products. Now, again, reviews real quick. This is what I find to be so extremely powerful. I read about Playa recently. Maggie, we've read. We'll see. We'll jump to the second page because there's some ones that we haven't read. Zenta's a good one. Odie. Odie is an older dog who is feeling down, but the Mush Puppies have been cheering him up and helped him feel better and younger. Odie, we are so excited about how the Mush Ponies have helped Odie with his Cushings. So his horse. They've got the horse versions of these, by the way. Izzy. Hear how the Mush Puppies helped to relieve Izzy's cage rot after she was rescued. We've got a lot of animals that are being benefited by this amazing mushroom. It's good for your health. I got a friend, you guys probably heard of him, Baby Trump, the dude. I had him on my show talking about it. He took a bunch of this and supposedly managed to get his tumor to go away. But it also works with animals. We've got a lot of people talking about it. There's a bunch of research that actually backs that up. So I say supposedly just because it's like, I'm like you. That's a big claim to make. It's pretty impressive. This product changes lives. You got Mush Puppies, incredible, right, for the dogs and cats. Well, dogs. I don't know if cats like it. You've got a special variety of that. You've also, for dogs and cats, there's a super sauce. There's a way to, like, if you've already got, like, healthy, good food for your cat and dog, this is just a way to get this stuff squeezed in on top of their food, and you know they'll eat it. So they've got cat, dog versions of that. Mojo's is, they've got cat and dog. It's basically a liver treat that's got this Coriolis versicolor in it. So you got one of those cats or dogs that really digs that kind of stuff. Easy way to give them the same delicious medicine. Mush Ponies, yeah, just a great way. If you've got horses, and they've got a bunch of different buying ways you can go. Like if you've got a number of horses, they've got higher quantities, and they've got some great stuff for people. I'm actually using both of these right now, to be honest with you. But the yellow one, the Enforce and the Enforce Plus, incredible products. Just help get it in. I don't know. It's been one, like I said, I've smoked for a bunch of years, and you know, I'm not always doing the proper things every second of the day. This stuff actually helps just remove some of the bad stuff, some of the bad mojo that's going on in the body. It just keeps me feeling good. I've been feeling great since. Sleeping good, remembering my dreams more. It's interesting, very interesting. And again, a lot of products. They actually have great coffees. The gummies, I have those too. Those are delicious. They're actually really delicious. I've been kind of mixing between all of them. Still getting my mushrooms, but taking it different ways and very much enjoying it. So dogs, cats, horses, humans. We got 4 tabs at the top. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Make that choice to make your animals' lives better, healthier, and maybe even you too, if you actually care about yourself. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this particular post. UK, at UK Gov. Account's been suspended. There's a lot of fake news going around. This is good on you, by the way, Jordan, say that this is like, this is one of the perfect places for this guy. But the real UK government account is actually at Gov UK, not UK Gov. And it just kind of points out, and this is probably part of the problem, that this site was actually posting like they were the government. And I'm sure that was one of the complaints that the government had in the UK. And so him shutting it down was the right thing to do. UK has green-lighted their open censorship campaign, which has been building behind the scenes for years. Any government that seeks to suppress the lawful free expression of its citizenry exposes itself as tyrannical. You don't need to be a political expert to see the cost of tyranny on the once great nation of UK. Yeah, UK is going through a very tough time. Elon Musk posted this. It's a 2030 in the UK, and you're being executed for posting a meme. Because right now you're getting arrested for it. But he's basically saying in 2030, in just a few short years, you will be executed for it. Cake or death, they would say. CCP be like, oh, they're arresting people for Facebook comments. We like these people. So apparently China's revived a plan to build a 10 times larger super embassy in London because they're going full-blown communism, aren't they? Interestingly, popularity of the leftist UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has sharply declined amid criticisms of his response to recent unrest in Britain and the fact that he sucks and the fact that he's not helping anything and he's going full-blown communism, and they're like, oh my God. So again, we're trying to wake everybody up piece by piece. It's tough. Biologist Richard Dawkins says Facebook nuked his account after posting that male boxers shouldn't fight women. I mean, I don't think they should. I just feel like it's unfair to women, frankly. That's all, you know. We've worked hard to give equality and give them their same area and place and safe spaces, and we're just friggin' pissing all over that right now, frankly. But anyway, Facebook nuked his account. It is what it is. This is going to happen with a lot of the accounts. Any of you guys that follow me on YouTube for whatever reason, please check me out on Rumble is the best place. Just On the Fringe, search that. You should find me. Any day. You never know. They just shut down MXR Plays, which his stuff was very racy. But some other people too. I feel like Crowder, maybe someone else. Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember. I read somewhere. Somewhat. So this is, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything like that, but two dudes definitely won gold medals in female boxing. Two women that tested for that. They tested in the Boxing Association, and they found that they had, an XY chromosome. So that's that, right? They had an XY chromosome. But they were boxing as XX chromosome people. But the Olympics didn't use that same criteria to figure those things out. They just asked you, hey, how do you feel today about this? And they said, this is how I feel. And they're like, okay. So that's what they went by. But who knows? I'm going to play this just because I want all of you to be as disappointed as I am. But again, it was Minnesota, so I'm kind of not surprised. It was just finding out that Jesse Ventura is actually a deep state guy. It just bothered me. It was tough. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it with me. I certainly had fun experiencing this.
I'm going to be selfish. A few years ago, I got the opportunity to see the United States elect its first black president. I didn't think that could ever happen. And they even reelected him. Well, now I'm going to be selfish again. I've only got a few elections to go. I'm 73 years old now, so the window's closing. I want to be alive to see the first woman president of the United States of America and the first woman commander-in-chief, and we've got her right now.
Governor.
Yeah, so I am never, ever, ever, ever going to like him again. Ever. That was it. That was that. Yeah, it was just like the Brett Burr moment on Arizona, like McCollum, you whore. Like, you guys are going to suck forever in my mind. Like, I don't think there's anything you can do other than retire or go to just stop showing up in my face. That's all. I don't know. Probably nice people maybe in real life. I don't know. I doubt it. But, whatever. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sort of got, I don't know. This is weird. I don't know if it was an accident. Like, I don't know if it was kind of like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, because some are saying this is like the new little prank where you post out like I'm voting for someone else, like RFK Jr., for example, and I'm famous, and then everybody's like, huh? And then you're like, just kidding, because I wanted to see which haters came and attacked me. I am almost wondering if that's true, or maybe they did something, said something, and then we're like, when everyone beat up on them and they realized how much, like Donald Trump says, 75%, when like 75% of their audience was like, what? Like, they probably changed their mind. I don't know. I don't know what's true. I know what they're saying, but I know what they did, and I don't know why you'd fake that, but whatever. Like, whatever. I'm not going to try to figure that out. Tim Pool is phenomenally successful. Good on you, Tim. My friend Alpha's been out on his show and stuff. That's pretty cool. But anyway, he supposedly said, okay, I'm voting for RFK Jr. now. And then RFK Jr. is like, I'm grateful for you, man. That's so awesome. You're the best. And then he was like, nah. And then he later, like right after, he's like, nah, I'm sorry. I'm actually voting for Trump. Like, just kind of, I don't know. It was just a fucked up thing to do all the way across the board. I thought it was mean to RFK Jr. I don't think he deserved that. Like, I don't know. I don't agree with everything he's saying, and I'd like to see him involved in Trump's campaign, and I think Tim Pool said that. But I just thought it was weird. Whatever. So just for those people that love using AI and you give it access to your internet and your Wi-Fi and stuff, just in case you're not paranoid like me, you should be more paranoid.
What they did is...
Oh, we mentioned TikTok and shit like that, but anyway, well, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Facebook, don't listen to me. Don't.
What they did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, like, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation, right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings.
Yeah, some are even saying that it's capable of going through walls, which they didn't mention per se in here. But if you think about your Wi-Fi works when you go and have a wall in between you, doesn't it? Yeah. Just saying. I don't know. You guys, they say being paranoid is not necessarily good. Weird news. Now, I don't ever celebrate people dying, though I find that God is the best person at reconciling anyone's life, frankly. Each one of us is going to live until the very second we don't live. And the very second we don't live is certainly not decided by ourselves, right? It's decided by God, or some might even say our higher selves. But whatever the case is, God, sure. So when death happens, it was God, right? Just want to make sure we're on the level playing field. Former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, I don't remember how to say it, Wojcicki, I don't know. She just passed away after battling with cancer. She was 56 years old. She stepped down not that long ago, probably because the cancer was progressing and couldn't really be public anymore, because maybe she was going to go into chemo and she's going to lose her hair, and hard to fake all that shit. Whatever the case is, she's passed away. Now, it's very sad. I feel bad for her family, but she's an interesting individual. She's very involved in censorship in a huge kind of way. Like, she was kind of directly involved in some really interestingly horrible shit. So We The Cure posted this. August 9th, we received the news that former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki passed away from cancer at 56. This is important because Susan was highlighted as a player in the Q drops. John No Name McCain, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Susan Wojcicki were all named as deep state players in the Q drops. All three of them passed away from cancer. Isn't that interesting? I can't make it bigger without, just throwing that out there. Guys, we are in the middle of crazy. You need to be on the balls of your feet right now, okay? With everything. Be making sure you've got stuff, food. Just be able to go a few days, a lot of days. 7 would be ideal, okay? Don't freak out. If you can't go further than that, believe me, when shit hits the fan and you really are tightening your belt, trust me, you can make 7 days of food go a lot further than you realize. Water's super important, or at least filtration. Make sure you've got Second Amendment type stuff. But again, it's just stay chill when it happens. Some panic's going to happen in some places. Odds are not exactly where you're at, because, now I mean your building, your floor, whatever, I don't know. But you'll probably be fine. Again, where your heart's at. But be prepared. We're heading into the crazy time. It's less than 90 days at this point, guys. Right? So we're very close to them. This whole time, they're going to try to figure out how to take Trump out, how to somehow change the election, or how to cheat, or they're desperate right now. Just be prepared. And like I said, drslikesgold.com. Get the fuck out of their system. Seriously. Quick, fast, go. I mean, it's going to be worth it in the big picture. Gold's going up a lot in value, so just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Getting out of their system. Oh, nice. No camera. Getting out of their system is going to be the key. And that is going to be what we're helping in this transition. It's going to be exciting. That's all I can say. And I don't know when what, but like I said, I feel like we've got a heat shield behind these guys. I feel like there's some stuff coming. It's just be on your toes. We're very close to something, to excitement. Maybe this week, who knows? But I'll tell you this, I'm going with you. Side by side, shoulder to shoulder, all the way. We're going there. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.